you need to know that Indonesia's history is not just about the Dutch taking over, Japan coming in World War II, and they gained independence afterwards. No, there's much more interesting events that a lot of people, including you, have overlooked. So I'm here to tell you all about Indonesia's first ever kingdom. But it actually doesn't start in Indonesia at first. In the year 357 AD, the legendary Gupta Empire from India was on its way to reaching its greatest extent. In their campaign of invading South India, they marched through the Vengi region, which served as the primary capital of the Salankayanas. Yup, there's no way I'm staying here, said a priest from the Salankayanas. Due to the Gupta Empire invading all over the place, he fled all the way through the Bay of Bengal, the Malacca Strait, and eventually arriving on the island of Java. This guy's name is Jayasingha Warman, or just Jayasingha, because the word Warman is actually the name of the dynasty, which means protector of the land. The reason for that is because a year later, in 358 AD, he would go on to rule West Java. Watch until the end to see how this kingdom would rise to its glory age, facing fierce rebellions internally, and how the kings made costly decisions which led to its ultimate demise. This is the first kingdom of Indonesia, Tarumanagara. Tarumanagara in English means the kingdom of Taruma, because the word Nagara means civilization, country, empire, kingdom. Yeah, you get the idea. Now, Jayasingha established this kingdom around modern-day Jakarta, with this flag being used the most. But there are some versions of the flag having symbols of flowers or even elephants, just like from Thailand. A bit of a backstory before he fled to Java. There was actually a prehistoric clay pottery culture here, which is the Buni culture, and it flourished in the northern coast of Java. Hey, do you want my pottery in exchange for yours? Hell no, my one is way better. Then, after Jayasingha came from India, he basically Indianized the region, basically meaning he brought cultures from India to Java, and was also the first to bring Hinduism to Java. Do you guys know that our god is Brahman, the supreme being? Wow, that's crazy. Tell me more. A few years later, in 362 AD, he expanded Tarumanagara to the south, which is actually the region named Salakanagara, or the Kingdom of Salaka. But it's still debated to this day whether this kingdom actually existed, so I'm just going to keep it as something mythical. In 382 AD, when Jayasingha passed away, he was succeeded by his son, Dharmaya, who reigned until 395 AD. We don't know much about him, so we will just skip the third king, Purnawarman, or just Purna. When he became king, he first started his 10-year territorial conquest to expand Tarumanagara, starting from 395 to 405 AD. In 395, he is powerful and brave, invading Singanagara and Purwakarta in the north. In 396, he invaded Karangsindulang and Cupunagara. In 397, he went to the south and invaded Bumisagandu and Gunung Manik, but at the same time, he made an imperial capital city named Sundapura, which is the first time the word Sunda was used in Java. Next, in 398, he invaded Malabar and Manukrawa. However, in 399, he finally met up with a worthy great kingdom named Indraprahasta, which also comes from Indian ancestry. Ultimately, they were absorbed by Tarumanagara, and Purnawarman continued on with his conquest. In 400 AD, he focused on conquering the southern regions and pushed east into Cangkuang. In 401, he invaded Indihiyang, and the year after that, in 402, Purwagalu. In 403, he invaded Pasir Batang, and conquered more lands. Getting closer to the end of his 10-year military campaign, he conquered Kubangiri in 404 AD, and finally Purwalinga and Purwanagara in 405 AD. In the span of just 10 years in his reign, Purnawarman erased 17 small kingdoms off the map of West Java, and Tarumanagara reached its greatest extent, starting its golden age. By the way, out of all of those 17 small kingdoms that I just mentioned, the only ones that you need to remember for this story is just Chupunagara and Indraparahasta. Later you'll see why. A few years later, in 417 AD, after his territorial conquest, he ordered the excavation of the river Gomati and Chandrabhaga, which was 11 kilometers long, for agriculture and settlement. He just likes making canals, and every single time he makes one, he secures the hydraulic project with the ritual. Oh my god, we finally finished the canal. We can go home now. Wait, we need to pray first, remember? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Again? How long's the prayer? It's gonna take like a couple of hours. Yeah, I'm quitting my job after this. Last but not least, he made a lot of well-preserved stone inscriptions and 2 big temples which still stands today near Jakarta. These stone inscriptions basically glazes him like saying that he is the standard for rulers. His footprints even carved into the stone to be said that it's similar to the footprints of the Hindu god Vishnu, arrows not being able to penetrate his armor, and he was always successful at destroying enemies' fortresses. With that being said, you can technically consider Tarumanagara as an empire, but sadly, this is when the glory age of Tarumanagara ends, because after Purnawarman's death in 434 AD, his successors didn't really do as much as he did, and some of them are even considered controversial according to modern Indonesian historians or scholars. But I will still tell you all about it anyways because it's still important in contributing to Tarumanagara's decline. In 434 AD, Wisnuwarman succeeded Purnawarman and became the 4th king of Tarumanagara. Once he was crowned, he held a massive feast for 4 days and 3 nights. He invited subordinate kings of Tarumanagara from other kingdoms all around Asia, prime ministers, Hindu Brahmins, army commanders, and other officials. Then, he still does something good by sending envoys to various countries like the Liu Song dynasty in China, the Gupta Empire in India, Funan in Cambodia and Thailand, Champa in southern Vietnam, and also from other islands of Indonesia to improve and continue great relations with them. In 436 AD, a small earthquake occurred in Tarumanagara, which Wisnuwarman saw as bad omen. So to avoid all of this, he followed the advice of a Hindu Brahmin to follow the flow of the Ganges River to the Indraprahasta territory, now a subordinate kingdom of Tarumanagara. So, 2 months after the journey, he arrived in the Indraprahasta kingdom, where its king, Wiryabanyu, was really joyful about him coming. The next day, Wisnuwarman, Wirya, and other vassal kings bathed in the Ganges River, guarded by troops, and prayed to Lord Vishnu afterwards. The next year, in 437 AD, an event occurred which would further make the story even more bizarre and would change the direction of Tarumanagara's destiny. One day, when Wisnuwarman and his queen were fast asleep at night, a person slowly but surely went inside of their room without any guards knowing and tried to assassinate Wisnuwarman. Alright, all I need to do is just kill Wisnuwarman, his queen, and just get out of here. Oh crap. In the morning after that incident, in the middle of the hall, Wisnuwarman and his queen, royal officials, prosecutors, brahmanas, and the interpreter confronted the person who wanted to kill Wisnuwarman last night. What were you doing getting into my room last night when I was fast asleep? I won't tell you anything. Really. If you don't tell me, then I'm going to kill you." After severe pressure from the king, the man finally confessed that his purpose of trying to do such a thing was to follow an order from a man named Cakrawarman, who shockingly is the uncle of Wisnuwarman, Purnawarman's younger brother. Everyone was surprised upon hearing this, and after Cakrawarman heard that the assassination attempt has failed, he and his followers fled to the banks of the Taruma River. A bit of a backstory of who Cakrawarman really is actually pretty simple. When the Golden Age came and Purnawarman ruled Tarumanagara, Cakrawarman was appointed commander-in-chief of the army and actually attended a lot of events led by Purnawarman. He wanted to become the fourth king so badly, but because of Wisnuwarman, Purnawarman's son taking his place, Cakrawarman became extremely jealous and wanted to seize the throne for himself. Alright, let's go back to the present. After Cakrawarman and his followers crossed the banks of the Taruma River, he sought protection from the Chupunagara Kingdom province, as well as asking to create a rival state against Tarumanagara. "Hello, great, incredible, outstanding king of Chupunagara. I'm currently in a rush, so can you please not let any Tarumanagara soldier go into your kingdom and give me permission to establish my own new kingdom?" The king of Chupunagara, Satyaguna, hesitated because he is actually the father-in-law of Cakrawarman. "There's no way I'm doing that. After all, Chupunagara is controlled by Tarumanagara, so there's nothing I can do. But I can give you some things." In the end, Satyaguna gave him help in the form of supplies and weapons, but forced his rebellion to take place outside his kingdom. Cakrawarman then fled to the east, isolating him and his followers in the forests and mountains, settling there temporarily due to how dense it is. Meanwhile, Wisnuwarman ordered a coalition of all of the subordinate or vassal kings of Tarumanagara to kill Cakrawarman and end his rebellion. I believe you know why I have brought you all here today. My uncle, Cakrawarman, had ordered an assassination attempt on me, but it failed, and now he's on the run and threatening Tarumanagara. We can't let him rule over our empire to make it go down into the shadows. We must join our forces together and stop him once and for all. The Indraprahasta kingdom eventually finds where Cakrawarman is, and King Wirya prepares his army to attack. His soldiers have full armor with different kinds of weapons, and even summon elephants with people in front holding the Indraprahasta banner. Despite Indraprahasta having a good army, Cakrawarman is also passing by villages and obtaining even more followers to form an army as well. While all of this is happening, Wisnuwarman's army, combined with the armies of the subordinate kings, are getting closer to Cakrawarman and his army, but stopped because dusk is arriving. "Cakrawarman, are you sure we can sleep at night? Because I've been getting news of Tarumanagara's army getting closer to us." Yes, it's fine. We still can rest. We now have a bigger army with some of Tarumanagara's generals joining us. We are unstoppable, and there's no way Wisnuwarman would even dare to attack us at dawn, right?" Later, Wirya and his army notice a fire in the middle of the forest and knows that is where Cakrawarman really is. Therefore, Wisnuwarman made it clear that they would advance soon at dawn. They started to advance carefully, but a few hours later, dusk was about to be over and the sun could be seen in the east. Wisnuwarman's, Wirya's, and other subordinate armies like Singanagara's, Bumisagandu's, and Manukrawa's Royal Navy started to advance towards Cakrawarman's position faster. With Cakrawarman and his army still fast asleep, Wisnuwarman takes this opportunity to ambush his position. Cakrawarman is now surrounded in all directions, without him even knowing. Will his strong, huge army be able to resist Wisnuwarman's forces? Well, you just need to wait until the next part.